this is take 2 of this because we tried already and it failed, but that's all right. We're learning here. So this is the Monsters in the Mirror podcast, MITM Podcast, and we're back. And this time we're using a little bit of a new format. We decided to go with some video as well so that we can have some faces behind the audio. So people can just listen to this audio on their phones while they're driving, whatever. But if you're chilling and you've got YouTube around, if you want to watch it, you can actually see us. That way, when Aaron is making faces at me while I'm talking, you can actually see it. So hopefully that'll be a little more entertaining. Since we're going to post this on YouTube and all that stuff, I figure video makes more sense. So so we're learning as we go. There might be some video quality. Just bear with us here. I'm learning, but I think we got a pretty good start here.
Plus, everybody gets to see Aaron's muscles.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys want to see a trick?
I do.
All right, watch
Don't
this.
even ask.
Do the pec roll, not just bounce. That's for amateurs and rookies. This one is a roll for pros. Watch this.
All the way up. Look at that.
All right.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So we back. So what I want to do with this episode is our first episode back in a long time. It's been like almost a year since we did our last podcast.
Too long.
And we have a show coming up, like we mentioned in take 1. So it's October 6th today. We have a show on October 27th, and it is the reunion show for Chasing the Sirens. And so that's a big deal. They haven't played in a very long time, and there's a lot of people that want to see them. And Monsters in the Mirror is on that bill as well. And Vince is in this band and he's also in Chasing the Sirens. So I thought it'd be fun to have a conversation about that, get to know a little bit more about the band itself, maybe where it started, that kind of stuff, talk about the show, who's playing, that sort of thing. And then I guess get Aaron's opinion on this whole thing too. I mean, he's here, America.
So, yeah. So if you've listened to some of the earlier podcasts, if you haven't, go listen. But, you know, AC and I go way back in music. We have a lot of history from the very beginning, actually. So we were in Saturday together. We were in Leading the Wake together. We were in a failed project called Before Creation for a very short period of time.
I always called it Before Crenation, like when a cell shrinks. So crenation. But
so anyway, so once Leading the Wake ended, that was kind of the first time that Aaron and I diverged. Aaron went off to college, and I kind of hung out in Willard. And by that point in my life, I'd been in a lot of bands, played a very active role in those bands. And I was honestly I still wanted to be in the band, I still wanted to do music, but I was looking for something. I was looking for a role that was maybe a little bit less demanding. And it turned out Chasing the Sirens was already formed. I didn't help form the band. I wasn't really one of the quote unquote main members of the band. They had already formed together. They already had an established list of members. They already had a bunch of songs written. I did end up recording an album for them later on, but for the most part, they just wanted somebody to like play cool, evil sounding like sound effects over their metal music. So they brought me in to play keys, and it was nice. I just kind of got to take a back seat, and you know, I helped them a little bit here and there with guitar harmonies and stuff. But for the most part, really talented group of people that already had a good thing going. And they just, you know, I was lucky enough that they made me a part of it. So, and a bunch of fans got together, petitioned for the band to have a reunion show. Nobody in the band was planning this. Band.
How many got together? Like 10? Or what was the count?
It was around 50 from what I heard.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. And so that's why we're playing a show after 14 years, is because a bunch of people got together and they said, you guys really need to play a show again. And then we kind of talked about it over Facebook Messenger and we decided we wanted to do it. So we've been practicing since June, about one practice a month or so. And a lot of people are really excited about it.
I'm excited for it too. Hey, can you guys, before we continue, if you look at your screen, Aaron, can you scooch a little bit so you're in the center there? And then Vince, if you can scoot back. Actually, you look good right now, Vince, but when you're talking, you're kind of sink down, but yeah. So it's in Mansfield, right? It's at the electric company. Is that right?
Yes. The venue is called the quote unquote, the electric company. Interesting name for a venue. But yeah, it is located in Mansfield, Ohio. October 27th. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 6:30. We'll be playing with Bury Us All is opening up the set. I'm excited to hear them. I hear they're very heavy and they're very good.
Very jazzed.
And then they're being followed up by Bare Knuckle Redemption. And then Monsters in the Mirror, which is our group. And then Chasing the Sirens will be headlining. It'll be a good show.
So good news, MITM fans. Guess what? We're not headlining. So for the hour trip that you're going to have to make to go see us, we're not playing last. So come on down.
Are all the bands pretty heavy, Vince?
From my understanding, yes. It is definitely a firmly rooted in the genre of metal show.
Okay, and question. Out of all the bands, is Chasing the Sirens the only band that has a woman in it?
I cannot completely confirm. I think so.
Okay, because if that's the case, ladies out there, you're going to actually get to see a woman on stage kicking ass and just tearing it up. So
it's pretty rare for a metal band to have.
Yeah, it's usually a sausage fest.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
That's sweet. I'm pumped for it. It's our next show, and we haven't played so many shows with MITM, as MITM or whatever. So like any show we have, I'm super pumped about. So
see what I'm hoping, Dustin. I'm sorry to interrupt, sir. I really apologize. What I'm hoping, it's the band's not like a breakup in a relationship. That you broke up for a reason, and when you get back, you realize all the stuff that you missed. Right? Oh man, this is awesome, right? But then you're reminded of why you broke up in the first place. I hope, my prayer is that that's not the case. These guys find a new wineskin. I'm talking a new identity, a newfound glory. Ding. And they might go forward with it. That's my hope.
Well, I mean, it's pretty well established as a one-time deal.
We'll see when they hit the stage.
I know for myself. I mean, I can't manage two bands.
Oh, well, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me mention this. You're not going with them. Like they're going to have to find somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, and Wes is already, he's pretty much stated, this he can't handle anything else either. So, but yeah, if the rest of those guys decided to keep going and doing stuff, then I'd have no issue with that. I would encourage that. That would be awesome.
So that's just my official statement. That's all it is. That's
how far back does this go? So like Aaron was going into college. So about how old were you guys, and how old were the rest of the band at that time when you joined?
All of us were hitting puberty, I believe, at that time.
Wasn't quite that early.
No. What's that, Vince? A pubescence period? Pubitus? Grammar guy. What?
Swing and a miss.
Pubescent.
Yes, thank you, Vince. Wasn't a pubescent time. No, it was.
I mean, we were all in our mid-20s, so I guess.
Gotcha.
It was.
Puberty would have hit us all by then.
But yeah, this would have been around 2006, 2007.
Nice.
So I was about 22 at the time, and I think Morgan, the aforementioned female member of Chasing the Sirens, I think she was quite a bit younger than me. I think she might have been like 15 at the time. Mm-hmm. She had to get X's on her hands for all of our bar shows.
Right.
So
I remember those days. So it's been we're looking at like 15, 16 years, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's been
a long time, dude.
Not to make you guys feel old, but I mean, that's cool. Like, it seems to be a trend nowadays too. In the past 5 years, like all the bands from our heyday are now getting back together and doing reunion shows and tours. Like Haste Today is doing all kinds of cool stuff right now, and Under Oath is back, and all these different things. So it's pretty cool. Chasing the Sirens is doing another one. Maybe Pleading the Fifth from my old days. We'll do one more show.
Dude, it'd be nice to kind of see like, hey, where are they now kind of thing. Like even with MITM, Monsters in the Mirror, Chasing the Sirens, like kind of, hey, what are we doing now? So maybe this podcast can get a little bit of our side and eventually maybe get these guys. Dustin, what's your Red Dog podcast? No, Bloodthirsty Pugs podcast, right? Bloodthirsty Pugs. Are we still going to that name?
I don't know. I have 530 names in my phone. Right. So,
the Dustin Scott podcast. Maybe we can get something rolling at the electric company. If I don't know, like just some type of live something.
It's funny, Aaron. You mentioned your relationships and getting back together with people that you had been away from for 14 years, and it is kind of a trip. It's been a very positive thing overall because there are elements of their personalities that come back and you remember and you go, oh yeah, I forgot that Wes was a smart ass, but it seems like since everyone's so much older now, like everyone's more mature. And they don't really cross boundaries or take it too far like they did in the old days. So it's almost like more pleasant to work now. There's like less conflict and less ego, and it's been nice.
That's good to know because I'm almost wanting to count this show as like a high school reunion for me because I didn't go to my high school reunion, but all of our roots lead down this road. Like, so this might be a reunion for all of us. Like,
now, Aaron, I'm going to put you on the spot. So, ever since back in the day in 2007, as I mentioned, Chasing the Sirens was my first band I was ever in that Aaron wasn't also in. So it was a big divergence for us. Our friendship was founded on playing music together. And that was the first time that we didn't. I don't think it wasn't because of anything was going wrong in our friendship at the time. Our friendship was fine. You just had to go to Toledo, UT, and you had to focus on college.
Yeah, and leading the wake, eating the cake, dissolved. Yeah. And that's when I went to college, and then you were freelanced and you were available. And Chasing Sirens sucked you up.
But I noticed you always seem to have a chip on your shoulder about Chasing the Sirens. Like even to this day, you kind of chuckle when the name is mentioned. And I guess I never did ask you, like, what was your vendetta or your beef with them? Was it simply because it was something I was in that you weren't, or was there more to it than that?
Well, I mean, there's a paragraph, a page on this one. One, as narcissistic and egotistical as I am, I'm a selfish man and I'm a possessive man. And I don't want anybody else having you besides me. And if I wasn't going to college, there'd be no way I wouldn't be in the band with you. College was a stepping stone for me as far as my my whole growing up and stuff. So I had to go and I was distracted. And Chasing Sirens was lucky that I was distracted because if I wasn't, I'd be on stage at that time.
So what you're saying is it's just mostly jealousy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Jealousy, what I should have been doing, regret what I left. Mad that I wasn't doing what you were doing. A little envious, a little jealous, yeah. And yeah.
But it all worked out in the end. You got a good degree.
Yeah,
and then look at us. We're back in a band together, so you got me back.
I know. I knew I always would, but hey, listen to this one. Fine, Jack's out of the box now. Who got you from Arizona to Ohio? Me. Like, you traveled 2,000 miles. This is meant to happen. This was always meant to happen. It was always meant to be us.
I'll give you that one.
Oh, how the stars aligned. Oh, man. The timing. We were born for this.
I love it. I thought there was going to be more there, but I guess that was pretty self-explanatory.
Oh, man. Dude, 2,000, 3,000 miles to Arizona. He travels going through a huge life change. I'm telling your story, Vince, but man, and then he ends up in Ohio, shows up, and I think on my old phone that I cracked, like I had a video of him arriving as, I think, as a U-Haul box truck.
So tell that story real quick, just because not everybody kind of know. I mean, just briefly, like you were in Arizona and all that stuff.
Vince made his change. You know, he went to his college once, chasing the saxophones broke up, and went off to Arizona for his
chasing the saxophones.
What'd I say?
You said chasing the saxophones.
Oh, chasing the sirens. I'm chasing the sirens.
I thought you were making a joke. I thought it was funny.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I mixed the words up. I got a little confused up in here. You know, look, I even made it to college. Well, anyways, you went, right? You went to school and finally checked that box. The box I checked too. So it would only make sense after you got done scratching that itch, you come back to me and jam out and rock out and do what we're supposed to do a long time ago.
Giving off a little bit of creeper vibes, but it's all good. I'm used to it.
Angie, my best friend. I'm a mess without you, man.
But anyway, yeah, I went to college. I hung around a little bit later than Aaron did. I got a little bit more of my 20s party vibe in. I wasn't ready to go to college right away. Nobody really forced me to. So I hung around with my friends, jam music, partied, that early 20s time in your life where you just carefree and you can do whatever you want. It was great. I wouldn't take it back for anything. But eventually, people have to grow up, and people started leaving and going to the military, and some went to college and some went here and some went there. And eventually I found myself without much to do left in Willard. Aaron was busy with college. Like I just kind of felt like I was detached from everybody. So I won't retell the story I told in my podcast earlier this year. You want to hear my detailed story, then go listen to that one.
Yep.
But long story short, fast forward, I spent 10 years in Arizona, got my college degree in music, and then life events saw fit to put me in a position where I could move back to Ohio and I could re-engage with Aaron. And by that time, Aaron had made close friends with Dustin, and bada bing, bada bam, we brought Nick in, and MITM is still here.
Here we are. Bum, bum. Vince, do you have any, like I said, I'm thinking CTS right now. Just because that show's coming up. Do you have any cool stories? Anything interesting that happened back in the day, back in the glory days?
Oh yeah.
I'm curious to hear these.
So CTS stories. CTS had a very, I really gotta hand it to the fans, man. Like, no, like seriously, because when somebody first told me, hey, 50 people got together from 16 years ago and they signed a petition to like basically get you guys to play a show again. Even that was like, no, that didn't happen. Like nobody cares about Chasing the Siren, like this local podunk band from Willard, Ohio, so much that they really want to push us to play the show. And it turns out it was true. Like, okay, I guess they really did want us to. So then we agreed to do it, and we had to find a venue to play. And we found a venue, the Electric Company, and there's a booking fee. We got to pay a fee for the venue for the night. And turns out these same fans, they pool money together and they pay the venue fee for us. They covered it.
No way. You serious?
They covered it totally. Yeah. They found out we're the venue. They found out what the booking fee was and they covered it. And I'm just like, so that's when I was like, wow.
What is this? Like the fans paying for a movie, funding a movie if someone does it? Like that's, I got it. Hats off. Sales down for CTS on this one. That's a pretty big.
Honestly, that's like the way things are done these days. And that's what our goal is eventually is like, Classic Crime was like one of the first bands to do it. If you want to make an album, make sure the fans want it first. Do a Kickstarter and say, hey, we're thinking about making another album. Do you want us to? If you do, fund it. They fund it, then use that money, you record it and make it happen. So this is like, they kickstarted your reunion show. Very cool.
That is really cool.
So yeah, really, I mean, shout out to the CTS fans that are still here today, because they're the only reasons this show is happening at all. None of us, everybody in the band is so busy with lives and children and other bands right now. I mean, Keith Rowe, the guitar player, I mean, he's in, I don't know, 3-4 other bands simultaneously right now.
Is he like in a country band?
Yeah, he does a lot of cover stuff, and like his whole career has been music, you know? So, so he made time for this too. But yeah, if it weren't for the fans, this show would not be happening. And it's blown me away, like what they were willing to do, just given, you know, how long it's been since this band has been together. I just didn't figure there'd be that much care, like, or people even remembering it, let alone, you know, pushing us to get the show together and then paying for the venue. I was just kind of blown away.
Right.
But anyway, Dustin, you asked about like stories. So, in talking about the fan base, CTS had a very quirky fan base. It was just like the home for like goofy, quirky people. And like nowadays you'd probably call them like neurodivergent, you know? But we just had this kind of carefree, like we were metal, so we were heavy, but we didn't take ourselves too seriously. There was always like a joke behind it. So there was always little catchphrases in the band. One of them was like CTS Boar Skulls You. If you don't know what boar skulling is, I'm not going to explain it for you on this on this particular podcast. And then, you know, we had made these shirts. On the back it just said "Cut the shit, start the pit." Like,
I did like that shirt.
Yeah. And just really dedicated, active fan base. And so we always did really quirky things at shows. Not me so much, really. I was pretty bargain bin like metal guy back then. But, you know, one time the bass player, Matt, he just showed up. He showed up to a show in a full adult size onesie. So it was like the pajamas that you buy for your 3-year-old that are one piece with a zipper going all the way up the middle from the crotch all the way up. He found an adult size, and like that was his outfit for the show. Like
that guy was hilarious, man. I always thought he was funny.
He still is.
Yeah, actually, you know what, Matt Courtwright, I'm looking forward to meeting him. Not anybody else, but really him.
You hear that, CTS fans? You want to mob Aaron, just make sure you're like, I step out of the way first.
I'm back. No, I mean, that's cool. And man, I'm telling you, they were the only band around that had a girl in it. Like, that was huge. The metal scene was huge. Like, and everybody was like all guys. But man, that was one band, like, more. I never gave her enough credit. Never got to tell her. Maybe I will October 27th. But
does she? Like, I don't remember. I haven't listened to any songs. Does she sing, or does she do any screaming? Or
she sings a little bit and she screams. She started to get some.
Yeah, she had some pretty monster screams going on back in the day.
They would do some gang vocals, her and Keith, and yeah,
that's cool, because that was back. I mean, nowadays it's like, to your point, Aaron, there's like Ginger, and there's all these Hailstorm and all these like really big female fronted bands, but back then it was like Lacuna Coil and Kitty. And that's all I could think of. I mean, Evanescence, but like that's not really metal.
Arch Enemy didn't exist. Ginger didn't exist. Like, in this moment didn't exist. Evanescence maybe? No, I mean, not even getting that. None of that was there.
That's cool.
Yep. And it was, you know, it did help, like back in the day, like having a pretty girl in the band, you know, that went a long way too. And I was kind of felt bad for Morgan, because she was still in high school, a teenager, playing at all these bars with all these drunk guys. But
yeah,
parents had to sign a permission slip for her to go.
She was in good hands, because the lead singer, Keith, you know, pretty big, tall, bearded guy, you know, somebody you'd look at and go, yeah, you'd think twice before messing with him. You know?
And he had a beard in high school. You know how rare that is, man? Full-fledged beard.
Right.
Man, I didn't get whiskers till college.
He's actually Morgan's uncle. So I know he was looking out for her. And then at the time, back in the day, Morgan was also dating our drummer, Wes. So he was looking out for her too.
That's the first mistake. What's the number one rule, bandmates? What is it? No Doubt broke it. Who else? Like, what's the number one rule in a band?
Yeah, we all got to learn, right?
That's right. Everybody learns. Yep.
Everybody learns.
You know what? Aaron just made the comment that he didn't have whiskers until college, and that explains the whole going through puberty when he went off to college. Like, it all makes sense now. I get it.
Yeah, so some of us don't hit puberty till 25. Yeah, that makes sense.
He's a late bloomer.
That's why I still have my hair.
I was also going to say earlier that
Me too.
You were talking about her being the pretty girl in your band, and I think Aaron's the pretty girl in our band. Kind of helps us out a little bit.
Aaron is absolutely the pretty girl in our band.
Nah, see, my knees are too bulky, my kneecaps, and it really throws off my figure. So I actually disagree with that. Dustin,
Although, unfortunately, Nick, our drummer, can't be here tonight, but I can't give too much away, but I hear that it's possible that, you know, Aaron might be outshined at some point in the near future. We'll see.
You know what? I got enough glory to share. And I am a generous man. So I would love to share the light once in a while.
That's cool. Anything else CTS related? Anything comes to your guys' mind?
Yeah, I got plenty. One, does Wes even have the stamina? I mean, he's writing checks right now. His body might not be able to cash.
I gotta admit, and if Wes hears this, Wes, I'm sorry, I'm telling this story
Wes,
live. But
I know you're a great drummer, and I know like what you did back in that day.
So, first of all, is he nailing the parts? Absolutely, he is. So he's still got it, absolutely. But he's sweating like a stuck pig. Like by the end of practice, he's just soaked.
I can tell you why, Vince. Seriously. Samson in the Bible, right? The power, the strength was in his hair. Wes, now he's selling houses. Chop, chop. For his power.
Yeah, I have zero sweat after playing the CTS show. So
it's carpal tunnel, but
yeah, must be it.
Yeah, I have noticed that Vince and I both have become a lot more powerful over the last year. As our hair got longer, we're just like, dude.
Absolutely.
Where did I know this is a cheesy question and bands hate to be asked this question, but we got to. Where did the name Chasing the Sirens come from?
Well, I gotta do some more lip service and give a shout out to Keith Kipp. So my short answer to that question is I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't around for the formation of the band. But all I can really tell you is that Keith Kipp is probably one of the best lyricists that I have ever worked with in my life. He has a way with words, like poetry, unlike any other person I've ever met. And actually right now, just to kind of plug CTS a little bit, if you go to the Chasing the Sirens Facebook page, Keith is posting the lyrics to each song every few days and leading up to the show. So every few days he posts the lyrics to another song. So if you have a few minutes to spare and you just want to read some really like top-notch songwriting lyricism, then go to the Chasing the Sirens Facebook page and read Keith's lyrics, because they're amazing. They're somewhat cryptic and poetic, but it's not all, it's not like nonsense. Like you can tie the meaning together, and at the end of it,
right.
Like, I don't know. He's an amazing lyricist, and I've never really been very good at writing lyrics at all. So that's an art that I really treasure.
I'm checking it out now.
So really, he's the one who has he would know where the name came from, basically?
He would know if I asked him, for sure.
You know what? My guess on that name is, I don't know, like siren sailors, finding the mermaids or whatever you call them. But I think when he was a kid, he was in Willard. I don't know. Did he grow up in Willard?
I don't know if he grew up there. I think he grew up there.
Well, in my mind,
I don't know.
I get this imagery of like the tornado sirens would go off, and maybe as kids, they would just go out there and find out where the sound's coming from. Maybe reminded him back in the day, like chasing the sirens, like, and then obviously he's like wanted to twist it to something, but maybe that was the.
Well, it's more likely related to the Greek. I think it's a Greek myth of the sirens that would be out in the ocean and they would sing their siren song and lure sailors to their deaths. You know, like, have you heard that myth, Aaron?
Yeah. After I actually looked up the meaning of chasing the sirens, like, yeah, that's
kind of what I anticipate it means, which is actually pretty cool. Like,
yeah, and like they're lost at sea, so they have no idea where they're going. You know, it's not like they have light towers, right? So they hear this woman, you know, and oh, hey guys, Ariel.
Please don't sue us, Disney.
No auto tune on this, but and then they keep going like. Let's go. Let's find him. Let's find her.
The whole band had kind of a nautical theme to it. Just a light thread running through.
Dude.
So you can read into that, and a lot of lyrics like reference like nautical things, like setting our sails, waging wars at the sea, things like that.
You guys have a lot on your plate, so you probably don't have time to do this, but you should. This was popular like last year. But y'all should do a sea shanty. Do you remember that trend from like a year ago when like everybody was singing like that pirate sea shanty from their ships? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm blanking on this one.
You guys are,
Sing
you guys
it.
are old. I'm hip. I know what the young people are doing these days. So Trailer Park Boys did one. And there's one, I don't know if this is where it started, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the fourth one. When you're driving your pirate ship, you can have your crew sing these sea shanties, and they're like these. Yeah, it's funny you guys don't know that, but it was really trendy like a year ago. Everybody was getting in on it and singing their own, and it was on TikTok. And Trailer Park Boys did one that was pretty awesome.
I love Trailer Park Boys, and I can't remember that for some reason.
It was I don't remember all their names because Caleb watches it, not me, but. It was like a song about when the kitty man comes or something like that. And it's talking about like their cat being hungry and feeding him num-nums, but it's like it's a sea shanty, you know, like dun da da dun da 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 dun dun da da dun da da, and they're kind of hitting their hands. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. It was trendy a long time ago. So too late now, but it would work with Chasing the Sirens, man.
Hey, what about after the show, man? Are we going to get a couple cold snacks with them? And I don't know, do some picks and
who's ever around. I know Keith will be around. I mean, more than anybody else. I mean, he's been running the show on this. I mean, he went above and beyond. He went and got merch made and sold a bunch of t-shirts, and so I know some people might bounce right away, but at least a few of those guys will probably stick around. It'd be cool to do like MITM guys and CTS guys, we get together, go out for a drink or something and just kind of like mix the past and the present, like mix worlds. It could be fun.
That would be fun.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
So, as far as, so I know you're recording at least one song. How many songs are you recording for Chasing the Sirens? Right now?
That's TBD. Okay. So I already released one just the other day, in fact. So that one's called Gordon. It's an old song. And there's a couple other old songs back in the day that were not on the original EP. Gordon was on the original EP. So this most recent release is just kind of like an update. Back then, my recording skills weren't, they were where you'd expect a 22-year-old's recording skills to be in
right
in 2007. I did the best I could. Now a lot better. So that's kind of an update. But we have like 3 or 4 songs that we are playing the night of the show that were not on the original EP. And the thought is say like, hey, let's record the songs that we didn't record before.
I like that.
And then let the fans have those.
That's cool. So those will be ideally, I'm assuming, on like Spotify and streaming platforms. Is that the plan?
Actually, Keith just talked to me about DistroKid today and like making an account for CTS and whether I thought it was a good idea. And I said, "Oh, if you want to pay for it, man? Then absolutely. Like it's
right." And there's
just Bandcamp. So
and there's, I mean, depending on who they go through, like I think I did ours through CD Baby, and you just pay one flat fee up front, and then it's up there forever. So like, it'd be cool to do for the CTS fans, you know, like get it posted in a way that 30 years from now, they can go back and reference it and hear the songs from that reunion show they went to or whatever.
Oh, I also want to, before we end, shout out. So Keith, the lead singer of CTS, and another one of my friends who I do like silly side projects, like metal stuff with. His name is Corey Danhoff. He is my colleague when it comes to recording. A few years ago, I moved back to Ohio, and we kind of synced up on recording. He's the only other guy they know that's like super serious about recording. And back then I would have called him kind of like my Padawan, like he learned from me. But like now I would say that he's no longer a student. I taught him everything I know. So now he's a colleague, and not only does he do audio, but he's like grown a pretty significant video studio as well. Anyway, all this to say, him and one of the members of the Chasing the Sirens and a couple other guys, they started a music project called Wounds We Were. And I've gotten to be on the inside of some of that a little bit. I've gotten to hear the mixes. Corey and I share mix critiques back and forth. He'll send me something and I'll say, hey, EQ needs to be changed here. And likewise, when I finish a Monsters in the Mirror mix, I'll send it to Corey because he's my other guy that knows, he knows mixing. So I can send it to him and he'll give me like honest feedback, constructive criticism, and I know that I can trust what he says. So we're kind of in the background making each other better at what we do. And anyway, so they have the project called Wounds We Were. They're releasing a new EP, and they're also dropping professional music videos to go with it. I think like 2 or 3 music videos. So
very cool.
Give them a listen too. Give them some love.
All right.
Super cool.
Corey, excited.
And then the only last thing I can think of for Chasing the Sirens is I know there was some merch. Is there going to be merch at the show? Is there some place that people can buy that stuff online to wear it to the show?
It's a once in a lifetime deal. I'm definitely buying a shirt.
Yeah, they have some cool ones.
The new design of shirt, it's really cool looking. It was designed by an old friend by the name of Chaz.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you think he's coming?
I have no idea.
That'd be awesome.
But one of the most brilliant artists I've ever met in my life. Just does incredible work. Anyway, the art design's amazing. You can buy a shirt at the show, and if you go to the Chasing the Sirens Facebook page and you message the band directly, you can buy a shirt that way as well.
Nice. Yeah, I'm the same as you, Aaron. I want to get that. Is it that white one with like the skull with the mohawk on it or whatever?
It's black, but
black. Yeah, that shirt was cool.
Guys, I'm feeling just a little different now. Like I'm feeling the tickles and hear about them. I'm developing a little soft spot, I think. Like I kind of think like this could be us. At any time this could be stripped. And they get that one last chance, one more time, like we do every time.
Right.
Yeah, to me, it's something that's honorable. Mm-hmm. As soon as it got brought up, and I found out that it was the fans and that they went the extra mile to get it together, and especially after I found out they paid for the venue and everything, I was like, I never realized that I was part of something that impacted people like this. But if after 16 years of silence, they're giving up their time and their money to make this happen,
right?
Then, to be honest, like I'm honored to do this.